One of the pleasures of having a son enrolled in a yeshiva is the chance to study together with him during the long Pesach break, while he is back from Israel for about a month. As is often a favored practice of many Jews, he purchased a new Haggadah commentary this year, selecting the Maaseh Nisim, literally Act of Miracles, authored by Rabbi Yaakov Lorberbaum of Lisa. We explored several of his essays together, including an analysis of our current condition in light of the Exodus story. One of the fundamental questions that tugs at us during the Seder, and this was certainly far more pronounced during times of overt persecution, is how we can celebrate the redemption from Egypt when in fact we find ourselves in a state of perpetual exile. Meaning, while we may currently enjoy relative prosperity and even possess the land of Israel, we still lack our rebuilt temple, and strife continues to persist in the Holy Land, as we have sadly observed in recent weeks. Moreover, our diminished sense of current exile computes only if we focus on our material condition. The impoverished spiritual situation of our nation leaves no room for doubt that we urgently need redemption. True, a strong core today practices with great intensity and commitment, but this is hardly a consolation for the overwhelming majority that are less and less affiliated with each passing decade. Today, the largest Jewish denomination is Jews of no religion. Over 20% of born Jews do not regard themselves as Jewish, and this number surpasses 30% when considering millennials and beyond. In the Haggadah, we read that, had we not been redeemed, we would still be enslaved to Pharaoh in Egypt, along with our children and our children's children. Many wonder, would this really be the case? At some point, would we not have become free in one way or another? Perhaps through a regime change or through other machinations, we would have earned a change of status, as other enslaved groups have experienced at various points in time. Perhaps. But, the Haggadah is telling us, more likely we would have simply melted into the Egyptian population. After all, the Egyptian people themselves once enjoyed a unique and particular identity, but were conquered by the Arab Muslims in the 7th century. Who today would regard the Egyptians as anything other than an Arab nation? And so, had we not been redeemed, in all likelihood, we too would be Egyptians, our distinctive identity simply erased, as in fact did occur to many of our ancestors who chose not to depart Egypt. History repeats itself, or, as Mark Twain noted, at least it rhymes. Exile, spiritual exile, threatens us today as much as it did in ancient times, or at any time since, and for that reason alone, we must crave redemption. How then can we celebrate in the here and now? Rabbi Lorberbaum explains that this is the secret of Seder night. God took us out once, an entire nation lifted from within another, and so at any moment he could do so again. His outstretched arm reached out then and will yet reach out once more. We live in an age of astounding technological advancements, many of which offer the prospect of rapid and radical change to the world order. Just in recent events, consider how quickly a microscopic particle spread and transformed life for billions, or how a single act of military invasion galvanized global response. And, God forbid, imagine what unconventional weaponry could threaten to obliterate in less time than I spent speaking these words. People and conditions can change far more swiftly and dramatically than we often care to consider. But this can portend fortuitously as well. Much as our ancestors were extracted from Egyptian bondage with haste in the depth of night, we too can find redemption, individually and as a nation awaiting a more peaceful and more spiritually connected world. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, and L'Shana Haba b'Yerushalayim next year in a fully rebuilt Jerusalem.